And good morning. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Huddle, the Week 7 edition. Kenny Roda alongside John Bozeka. We're going to take a look in and around Stark County. What happened last night in week number 7. Conferences and leagues shaping up to see who's going to be at the top of the standings, who's in the middle, and unfortunately who's at the bottom. We had some individual performances last night, John Bozeka, that were outstanding. We'll see who our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week is. We've got the Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week, or might it be Sweet Plays of the Week this week? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. And just some very good games. And here we are getting closer to the end of the season now than we were just a few weeks ago, when this thing just kicked off.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy to think week 8 already coming up this next week. Yeah. You and I were having the discussion just before we came on here. We were saying, should we talk about computer rankings? And obviously they're not official yet. Joe Itel, though, in our experience, has never been wrong. Right. But that being the case, we are starting to look at that. That's starting to take shape as well. Teams are not just talking about the league races, which, by the way, after last night, some huge games coming up in the next couple weeks. Federal League is getting tight. McKinley's sitting atop, but there's a bunch of teams chasing after them. The EBC is starting to shape up, and it looks like next week's game between West Branch and Alliance is going to be huge. And big win for Northwest last night. We'll talk about that. Planning to have 3 coaches join the show today. Going to have right out of the gate, Jay Rohr coming up here in just a bit from Jackson, plus hopefully Carter Molman and Corey Jacobs. We're hoping they'll join. And then also coming up after that, John DeMarco, head coach at Northwest, with Logan Allman at 10:25. And then hopefully at 10:40, we will have Tim Goodman and a player. He'll definitely be here, but we're waiting to see who the player might be if he's going to join. So we're excited. All 3 teams got big wins last night, and what a night of exciting games, Ken.
Yeah, and we want to, as you see them scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now, we want to thank all of our sponsors, because without them, the Saturday Morning Huddle does not exist. So thank you to AkronAutoAuction.com, Chad Bailey and his staff, phenomenal. Marianne Donuts will have our Sweet Play or Plays of the Week coming up a little bit later on. Community One Credit Union Player of the Week. We'll see who that is. We appreciate them being on board with us for multiple years. D. Hoff Realtor, Ty Colucci, and Dirty Hands Excavating and Restoration. All of those sponsors mean so much to this show. And shout out, tip of the cap, if you will, to our guy, Brian Bailey at Old Carolina Barbecue, because at all of our games, whether it's TV, radio, when I say TV, that's the YouTube game. I call that TV. So TV, radio, or the stream, we hand out an Old Carolina Barbecue Player of the Week or Player of the Game in all of those. And so thank you to Old Carolina Barbecue. So let's get started, John. Let's start with our game, which was a huge Federal League matchup between Hoover, undefeated Hoover, and McKinley. And what a game this was. It lived up to all the hype and then some, and it was Hoover early on taking the lead on this beautiful pass from John Collins back in action. He was, still playing with a bum ankle, but he played and he gutted it out through this game, and he hooks up with Jack Andes, 71 yards. And early on, Hoover strikes first. They take a 7-0 lead, but Trent Hayden and the Bulldogs come back as he finds DJ Britt on this 7-yard touchdown pass to even the score at 7-7 in the first quarter. So a lot of action early on in this contest on a beautiful night. And take a look at these catches here from DJ Britt. You talk about high pointing the ball and catching with your hands. Spectacular grab right there for a first down. And then watch it. It comes right at you here. A nice route, stop and go. Boom, outside shoulder. Great throw from Hayden. Great catch. Another big play. But how about special teams factoring into this game for the McKinley Bulldogs? Look at this. Darius Hill picks it up on one hop from the right side all the way across the field to the left side. Is anybody going to get him? Is Jack Andes going to catch up to it? Nope. He takes it the distance. Darius Hill goes 67 yards to give McKinley a 14-7 lead in the second quarter, and that's what the score would be at halftime. McKinley came out in the third quarter and one of the best running backs in Stark County. He's only a sophomore, folks. It's scary to think, but Kylan West, he'll run over a couple of people coming right into your living room right there. An 8-yard touchdown run for Kylan West. McKinley takes a 21-7 lead in the third quarter. Looks like they're in control of this game, but give Hoover credit. They kept coming back, and Carson Duggan with a 1-yard touchdown run in the third quarter, near the end of the third quarter, makes it 21-14. Hoover only down 7. And late in the game, look at this. Jack Collins, again, playing with a bad ankle, gutting it out, throws a strike on 4th down to Bryson Beyer, a chance to tie the game. All they have to do is make the extra point, and they don't do so. A missed extra point makes it a 21-20 McKinley lead. McKinley's trying to run out the clock. Well, it's 3rd down. Do they hand the ball off, or do they put it up and try and pick up the first down through the air? Well, Trent Hayden decided, hey, we're going to go for it and try and get the knockout punch, but he throws an interception. Chase Lukens with the pick late in the fourth quarter. Last chance for Hoover, down 1 point, trying to get into field goal range maybe, and on 4th down, that pass falls incomplete, and McKinley holds on for an exciting 21-20 win over Hoover last night in a huge Federal League matchup. First loss of the year for Hoover. They fall to 6-1, 2-1 in the Fed. McKinley, they pick up another win. They move to 6-1, and they are undefeated in the Federal League at 4-0, John, and they control their own destiny to win an outright Federal League championship.
Yeah, currently also 3rd within the unofficial Harbin rankings in the Division I, Region 1 poll as well. So standing in good footing there within playoff looks, but more importantly, undefeated within the Federal League. And hey, they do control their own destiny, but Kenny, that destiny that they have left is very difficult. Next week, going to go against a really good Lake team at home. They get Lake coming to their place, and then you look forward to week 9 and they have to go to Jackson, and Jackson might be the team that nobody wants to play right now. Last night, their win at Lake was a gutsy win. It was big time. They knew they needed it. And it's always what's so interesting to me about the Fed every year is that someone picks up a couple of early losses. This year it's Jackson. They were a little hurt, and now all of a sudden they only have 1 loss in Federal League play. They're standing at 2-1, and they're in a position where if they take care of business, that week 9 game could be an opportunity for them to play for the Federal League title as well, which is what it was last year. So, right. You know, it's always that way. And then, of course, they end the year with Hoover. So it's like, it's just going to be one punch after another for all of these teams.
Yeah, Renzi Parnell very happy with the win last night. I caught up with him after the game, John, to talk about, jumping out early and finding ways to win. Special teams were huge for them. They had a punt return for a touchdown and, put some pressure on that extra point, forced Hoover to miss it. So special teams were huge for them. Let's hear what Renzi told me last night after that big 21-20 win for McKinley.
A thrilling game tonight for us to call. As a coach, you're watching it. Your team takes an early lead. Hoover fights back. You hold on there at the end. What was the key in not giving up the lead?
It was resilient. Defense stepped up, played on a short field there with the interception and the kickoff return before that. So got to tighten some things up. That's football, right? That's part of being in a good football league and playing a good football game. You got to go through stuff like that. So I'm proud of them. We came out on top.
And you did it on the road, too. How important was it to get tested on the road in a Federal League game, 2 undefeated teams in the league, and you come away a 1-point winner?
Yeah, we knew that would happen, right? That's what playing on the road is. So I'm super excited we got the win. You always learn lessons, right? The game of football teaches you a lot of lessons. Feels a lot better to win and learn those lessons versus lose.
Special teams were huge in this game for you guys tonight. You get a punt return for a touchdown. They miss an extra point. How much time have you spent with your specialty teams from the start of the season to now?
A ton, and I don't even think we're where we need to be. But we spend a lot of time, and we're going to continue to work it.
What do you like about where this team is now after 7 weeks?
They're starting to believe. We're starting to be able to make adjustments in the middle of a football game and have them understand that. So that's just part of their football knowledge is growing.
Coach, congratulations on the big win. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Go Pup.
One of the things that really stood out to me is right after the game ends, right? And, there's the handshake line, and we've seen, at times where that's gotten ugly. Renzi is in complete control of his team. He told the guys what to do, where to go, get over to the band, not down to the end zone, and they all listened and made a beeline to where he told them to go. So you can see that, he and his coaching staff, which is most of his family, right? Because I heard him say, "Hey, Pops, tell him to go over here." So he's talking to his dad, right? But they're in control. And, this is a very good football team, and they've lost 9 in a row. I know it's still 3 weeks away, but they've lost 9 in a row to Massillon. So Massillon gets a win last night. They bounce back. But I think that's going to be a better game this year than it's been in recent years when we get to week number 10 between the Tigers and the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about that, and obviously when you take the job at McKinley or Massillon, the first thing that fans will tell you is, "Hey, coach, welcome to the town. Go beat Massillon. Hey,
right.
Coach, welcome to the town. Go beat McKinley." It's never easy, and Renzi starting 6-1, that one blemish to a really, really good team in St. Augustine that's from out of state that had Division I talent on the field at numerous positions. They seem to keep getting better. Kenny, we were talking about this earlier, how Green picked up a big win last night, and they seem to be the team that maybe no one wants to play despite being 2-5 after Tyson Hunk had a big night. But McKinley's the one team in the Fed so far that has handled Green when they played them 21-3. So that might say a little bit more about how good McKinley is and maybe separating themselves in terms of talent and whatnot. And like we said, they have 3 extremely tough weeks. They get to play Lake at home. They get to go to Jackson. And then they get to end the year with the Tigers from Massillon coming to their place. And, hey, 9-1 is a road that's ahead of them. And all they have to do is keep winning tight games. And although that's a lot easier said than done, you can't depend on missed extra points every week. But they benefited from it last night. And I'm sure Hoover and their kids are going to regroup and think that they should have come out of there with the victory.
Yeah, both teams could have won last night. And I want to give credit to John Collins. He came in with a bum ankle, started the game, he was fine. He took a couple of hits. He had to leave the game a couple of times, but came back in because Jack Andes, we really haven't mentioned this, Jack Andes left with what we think was a concussion and a hand injury after grabbing 3 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. So they played the entire second half without their best all-around player in Jack Andes, and other players stepped up like Bryson Byer, who caught that touchdown pass late in the game to bring them to within 1 point. So Hoover could have won that game at home. In fact, I guarantee you Brian Baum's thinking we should have won that game last night, but they didn't. McKinley found a way to win, and so congratulations to them. But John Collins played a hell of a game on a bad wheel and almost brought them back to victory.
Kenny, last night we had a great game there, but the game that was on YouTube over at Lake last night was an unbelievable contest. A total of 77 points between the two teams. I think over 800 yards of total offense between the two teams. It ended up being Jackson edging Lake at the end, 40-37, just getting the victory. And because of that, we welcome our first guests, as we bring in Jay Rohr, the head coach of the Jackson Polar Bears, Carter Molman, the quarterback from last night, and, of course, Corey Jacobs, the running back from last night, who had a huge game. Gentlemen, congratulations on the victory, and thanks for stopping by at the Huddle.
Hey, guys, thanks for having us.
Coach, well,
go ahead, Kenny.
All right, let me start, because last week we had your game against Perry, and that one could have went either way, right? And you guys come up on the short end. Turnovers hurt you in that one. Last night, you couldn't afford to turn the ball over against Lake with the high-scoring affair. Take me through the week of practice after a tough loss, facing an undefeated Lake team and going on the road and getting the win as your kids answered your call.
Yeah, someone who I have, again, the utmost respect for, obviously, is Coach Lino at Perry. And I think as a coaching staff, as a team, we felt we let one slip away. And again, I said it, to them last week, and you just kind of mentioned it. You can't have 3 turnovers, miss field goals, and not score on 3 separate occasions in the red zone and think you're going to win. And obviously coming up short 21-19. The blessing about the group that we have, including the 2 gentlemen that are to my left and my right, we're just a resilient group. They came back to work this week. Again, it's a week by week approach, and our kids know it. We preach it. It's one practice at a time and one game at a time, as I say, really every year. But our kids believe in that. And like I said, they came to practice this week. They worked extremely hard. They knew what we were up against going to Lake and going against an undefeated Lake team. And they were accepting of the challenge. And as I say too, more often is we were blessed to come out with a win. So.
Yeah, Coach, obviously such a big win. And you mentioned the 2 guys that are sitting next to you. I want to go through a couple of plays here and ask Carter about a couple of the plays that were made in this game. Carter, let's start off first with this touchdown pass that you had to Max Cowles. Take me through this play.
Yeah, so little screen pass, and I knew I just had to get the ball in space, and Corey gives a great block on the play, and then it's really just all Max, the lineman, and the receivers. I had an easy job that play.
And then obviously later in the game, Carter, again, ball's in your hand, 4th and 6. What are you thinking here?
I was going to work the right side of the field, but I didn't like what I saw, so I just tried to escape out. And then Gino and I have a lot of chemistry, and he knows that when I escape, he has to work to me. And I found him, and we were able to win.
Coach, no Lucas Eckerman. You've had to depend on Carter so much this year. Why has he been able to step in and be that guy?
I think there's really a multitude of reasons. Number one is just his character alone. Carter's a tremendous, student athlete, does great in school. He's a great kid, in the locker room. He has great character. And even I think a lot of kids see the way that he practices, whether he's the starter or whether he's playing receiver, whatever it is, Carter gives it 110%. And when you've got the respect of your teammates, the way that Carter does, I mean, it's not shocking what he's capable of doing. In fact, Carter jokes with me going all the way back to week 1, and I'll bring it up again. He mentions, Coach, we're ready. I'm ready. And, we're gamers. And every time he steps on the field and he's in that position, he does a tremendous job, and we're proud of him.
All right, I've got some questions for Corey because we had you last week. I love the combination of speed and power that I'm seeing from you, Corey. Last week it was on display. Again, this week you had over 150 yards, 3 touchdowns yesterday. How did you develop your running style? Because every running back has a style, right? We call them a scat back, a power back. You're a combination of both. How did that develop?
I mean, it's just my line. I mean, they're super strong, they're big, and we just got it done.
No, I love that you're giving credit to your line, okay? But I saw you outrun like 5 guys yesterday, and they had the angle on you, dude. I mean, it was like you were shot out of the cannon. What is have you been timed in the 40? Here it is right here. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this last guy, forget about him. You passed the referee, too. That's 6 guys that couldn't tackle you. What's your 40 time, and have you always been a speed burner like that?
Yeah. I mean, my 40's like 4.4, 4.5. So, I mean, pretty fast. So.
That's an understatement, isn't it?
I think what Corey doesn't give himself enough credit. Obviously, he wants to speak about the linemen. But again, the unsung part, like you said, his style. Again, we preach and we've said it since day one, since really going into week 3. Corey has made that transition to running back. Haven't really, truthfully played that position. But he's a guy that, when it happened, he was very unselfish in saying, Coach, you could put me there, put the ball in my hands. But again, I think he has that versatility in multiple, whether it is, the power game and getting his shoulders down, whether it is the speed in the 4.4, 4.5, 40, or whether it's catching the ball to the backfield. He's really the triple threat. And he, last night was a prime example of him showcasing all 3 of those things.
Yeah, you're a genius too, Coach, for making that move. By the way, it makes you look great.
I think that goes off to our staff in general. That's a collective group effort, trying to determine what our best options were. And obviously it came to an agreement to move Corey. So I can't take the credit for that.
Carter, being in these Federal League games that you guys are in, these tight, down to the wire type of games, how do you keep your composure in those games, knowing that maybe to start the year you weren't going to be in this position? How do you keep your composure now?
I know what I'm capable of and what our team is capable of. And last night, I felt like we were on a roll and couldn't be stopped. So I knew when we had the ball, we could make big plays on offense.
And how nice is it, Carter, that you've got Corey you can just turn and hand it off to? You mentioned Max. Just get him the ball in space, right? You've got so many options where while the pressure is on you, they can take some of the pressure off of you by making plays down the field.
Yeah, Corey's a great player, great athlete, and I'm kind of spoiled with the guys I got around me because they all have different strengths, but they're all really athletic and just can create plays.
Corey, for you too, I mean, being a part of that offense, I mean, you've got so many weapons around you with Max, and obviously Carter is capable of making plays. How do you make sure you make the most of the opportunities that you have when the ball is in your hands?
I just trust my QB, my line, my wideouts, and just trust my speed, really.
And Coach, for you, sorry, John, late in the game, okay, it's decision time, right? It's a high-scoring game. If they get the ball back, maybe, they score and there's no time left on the clock. So it's a fourth down call there. And here it is. What was the, the discussion on the sideline like before this play and then deciding to go for it there?
Yeah, once I'll be honest, once we got the ball, got the additional first down that we needed initially, I told Coach Bardwell right from the rip, it's 4-down territory. We're going to go for it no matter what. I know Carter had the utmost confidence in what he just said, that they too felt that they couldn't get stopped. But at the end of the day, when your offense is doing what they were doing all game, I certainly wanted to put the ball in our offensive hands, and had the utmost, trust in the call that Coach Bardwell was going to do, and certainly what our playmakers were going to do. I give all the credit to Lake as well. They were moving the ball against us, and I certainly didn't want them to get the ball last. So made an early decision, and again, Carter made a tremendous play and was able to find Gino on the sideline for the first down.
Kenny, we have one more thing that we have to handle before we go along in the huddle here, and I guess we can finally let the cat out of the bag. But, I mean, we have to mention that our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week is Carter Molman this week. And, Carter, when you are the Player of the Week, you don't just get a chance to be the Player of the Week. You get to watch your own highlight film here on the Huddle. How does that feel, Carter?
Feels good, but I gotta stay humble. Gotta get back to work, but I'll appreciate this one.
Ooh, I like the back shoulder throw right there, Coach. That feels good watching from the sideline, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Again, guys, I know just the way that they played last night, coming off a tough loss again, like we started the conversation with, to a good Perry team. Our guys were hungry, and again, all the credit to Coach George and their staff too on a great season to date, and they're going to still do great things in the future. We're excited that we came out with a win, and as we go, it's still going to continue to be one practice and one game at a time. And, our kids are excited to have the opportunity to go to Glen Oak next week and get another one.
Coach, go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, Coach, this just seems like the gutsiest group maybe that you've had in a long time. Why is that? Why are they so gutsy and just they seem to rise to the occasion?
Yeah, I keep using the term resilient. At the beginning of the year, I think a lot of people, again, underestimate that we're young. We're starting a lot of young guys. And then, you go to the season and where we started and where we're at now, you have a multitude of injuries. Even our starting safety broke his hand, Wednesday in practice. He puts a cast on. He tries to give it a go yesterday and did a great job in the time that he was in there. So we've had a lot of things, a lot of adversity. But I know this, the 80, 78, 80 guys that are in the locker room, they support one another. They take coaching on a day-to-day, a week-to-week basis. And they don't want to let their teammates down, and they don't want to let their teammates down. And when you get guys that care for each other that way, I think you can accomplish a lot of things. And right now, I think that's what they're seeing. And last night was the first time really, and I told them that there was a lot of emotion that was shown before the game started, and certainly a lot throughout the course and at the end. And when they're willing to play like that and play with emotion and play with passion, this team can accomplish anything that they want to. So, again, it was a tremendous win.
No doubt. Congratulations, Carter. Numbers 28 of 38, 303, 2 touchdowns. I thought you were going to run one in there too. I think you were a little upset. You didn't keep your balance and get that one in there, but hey, that's all right. Just let Corey run it in 3 different times and over 150 yards. Great win for you guys. Great bounce back win. Best of luck. Thanks for joining us on the Huddle, guys.
Hey, guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Appreciate everything that you guys do. So thanks for your support as well.
We love it. Saturday morning huddle, getting up early with us coaches and players. And again, our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week, Carter Mullman, huge. And that's the backup quarterback, right? He'd be a starter on a lot of other teams throughout the area. And this play right here, it's 4th and 4, trying to run out the clock. Is he going to run it? Nope. His receiver worked back. They get the first down, and then you're in victory formation. So congratulations to Carter for an outstanding week. And a gutsy call and a gutsy play to wrap this one up and wrap up the Community One Credit Union Player of the Week.
Well, Kenny, I want to bring people's attention to one more thing here. Look at Carter at the beginning of this play. He has the ball in his left hand here. Hand here, switches at the last moment, sees Gino down the field, and makes that throw. That's why I mentioned the word gutsy. That's as you said, that's a backup quarterback making a play like that. That is so gutsy for him to hold the ball in his left hand, his offhand, guys bearing down on him, and then at the last moment switches over and says, hey, my guy is 1 yard ahead of the sticks, and I'm going to get the first down that I need for our team to win. And 40-37, they do not get any sweeter than that. Yep. And they might be even sweeter later when we have our Marianne Donuts sweet plays of the week. All right. I know that we're supposed to have Northwest coach John DeMarco. I've seen him hop in and out of the queue a couple times and potentially get in. Kenny, what's up? While we wait for them, let's run down the scores from last night. Just the scores. We'll get into detail a little bit more later on in the show. McKinley beats Hoover 21-20. Jackson 40-37 over Lake. Green, huge night from, I call him Sergeant Hulka, Tyson Hunka, 51-21 over Glen Oak. Perry on the short end to Fitch 14-7. Massillon bounces back. They win over Cardinal Ritter out of Missouri. 28-14 was the final there. Louisville takes one on the chin, a 2-point loser at home to Canfield, 23-20. Or was that one on the road, John? Was Louisville at home or were they on the road? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were on the road.
Okay, so a road loss for Louisville. My bad. Canfield beats them 23-21. Salem takes down Minerva 48-17. West Branch shuts out Marlington 62-0. Triway 47. Canton South 23. Manchester beats Fairless 42-13. Although Cam Carl, huge game, 4 catches, 160 yards, and a touchdown in that loss for the Falcons. Northwest, we're going to talk to Coach DeMarco here very shortly. A come-from-behind winner over Orville, 28-14. Edison doubles up Central Catholic, 35-17. East Canton, 14. Strasburg, 3. Ridgewood beat Sandy Valley. Sandy Valley 0-7 on the year, 48-7. And tonight, it's St. Thomas, 0-6 on the road at Crestline, but they did beat Crestline last year to snap that losing streak. So let's hope that they can get another victory over Crestline. And, we can talk about a big W for, St. Thomas.
And we mentioned it, but we're going to bring him on now. Head coach John DeMarco of the Northwest Indians and Logan Ullman of the Northwest Indians joining us now. Coach DeMarco, thanks for stopping by the Huddle today.
Well, thanks for having us. We see you guys nice and clear. Can you see us?
No. We do not have any video of you guys. We did before when you were in the green room, as we call it, but right now we got a big circle with a pretend human being.
You had us at one point today.
Yeah, we saw you in the waiting room before with the video. So I'm not sure if it's the camera on your phone or your laptop or whatever it is, but we can conduct at least an audio interview here, Coach. If you can't figure that maybe out.
Well, it looks like you left the stream there, Kenny. So maybe he's trying to come back and trying to figure that out. He wants us to see him. Coach, we can do it like this. Don't worry about it. We'll throw a picture up here in a moment of you, and that way we can talk to you and Logan. But tell us about your victory last night. You guys.
You don't exactly need a picture of me. You can get a picture of Logan. No picture is probably a plus for me, especially early on a Saturday morning. But we're having some Wi-Fi. I mean, we've been all over we've been in like 3 different buildings trying to get some Wi-Fi and trying to get hooked up. It was a nice win last night. Defensively, we played really well. We gave up 1 touchdown. We threw a pick 6 for their other touchdown that they had. Coach Todd Barkin and our defensive staff did a great job getting our guys ready together. To hold a team like Orville to 1 score was really quite an accomplishment, especially considering we dropped behind 14-0 right off the bat and had to fight back. And we gave up a good field position inside our 40, down 14-0. Our defense came out on the field and shut them down right there and got us the ball back, and we're able to gradually climb back and take the lead. But it was a hard-fought game, and we had to earn everything we got. Orville didn't give us anything, and really proud of the kids for hanging in there for 48 minutes and getting it done.
All right, Coach, you never want to start down 14-0, but what's said on the sidelines at that point? You're down 14-0. That's the situation as coaches. What's said to the players, or was nothing needed to be said?
Well, not a whole lot to be said. Just kind of, sticking with what we're doing. We believe in what we're doing. We're going to continue doing what we're doing and have faith. And, we had a couple of, we threw a pick 6 and a couple of things went wrong on the play. And we said, hey, we got to convert those. Just doesn't come down to the quarterback. We were in a formation we probably shouldn't have been in. We're a little slow in releasing the ball. We missed the block out front, and the next thing you know, we're down 14-0. It's just do what you're coached to do. Believe in yourself, believe in your teammates, believe in your coaches, and let's just keep moving forward and have faith. And eventually, we're going to overtake them.
Coach, this group last week, you guys fall against Lake in a really tight game, and to follow it up this week with a quality win like this, what does that say about this group?
Well, I'd like to say we're consistent. We show up and play every week, but we just watched the first quarter and we weren't very pleased with our execution, especially on the offensive side. So we got to continue to work there. But just shows a little bit of grit, determination, and stick-to-itiveness to get after it. When you get behind and coming back from a tough week, coming off the late game, it was a big get for us to get up to play a team like that and to play them that close and have an opportunity at the end to win and not come through with it. It was tough, but our kids bounced back and really played well.
Coach, what's been the key defensively? Last week, even though you lose, only 13 points. Yesterday, 14 points. Obviously doing some good things on defense. What's been the key?
Well, we're good up front. We returned all of our guys up front. We're led by Colin Smith up there, and we had really good linebacker play. John Campbell, Jacob Garber, and Connor Stevenson have just been outstanding for us. And then we got some secondary people behind them. Logan Allman plays safety for us, along with Joey Madura and Christian Breeden. And so we're pretty strong up the middle. And we've been pretty good against the run, and we've made teams throw the ball to move the ball against us. So we've kind of made them a little bit one-dimensional, so that's helped.
Coach, you mentioned Logan Allman. I'm guessing he's with you right now as well. Was trying to get him up on the screen there, but
that's about how he looks for us. Just a little glitch and he's gone. That's a good thing.
Logan, tell us about the effort last night. You guys are able to pick up the win. Tell us about what you were able to do. I know you had a key touchdown in the second half. Tell us about your night, Logan.
Oh, it was just a great team effort. I mean, we couldn't do anything without our team. Every aspect of our team O-line, D-line, linebackers, running backs, quarterbacks, receivers, DBs, everything, kicker.
Team effort, obviously, Logan. I want your thoughts falling down 14-0. What was said amongst the players at that point?
It wasn't very nice what was said between the players at that point, but we brought some energy after that. Knew we were down 14-0. We had to come back, and then that just lit a fire under us.
Logan, for you, this group, I mean, obviously you take a lot of ownership being a senior. That loss last week, what kind of fire did that light under you guys to almost go to Lake and pick up a win knowing that you were that close?
It lit a big fire under us because that showed us how good we can really be, and we just got to keep stacking it week after week.
Coach, when we saw you earlier in the green room, when we did see you, it looked like you had 2 players with you. Did you have 2 with you?
Oh, I don't know. We were down in the weight room. We had all kind of guys wandering around trying to put all of our brains together, trying to figure out how to get on here. And obviously, being the elder statesman here, I have a little bit of trouble with technology, so they're trying to help me out a little bit. So I don't know who all was wandering in and out.
Well, I'm just curious, because I didn't know if there was another guy you were going to bring on, that somebody that stood out last night, that maybe, it's not the sexy skill position player, but somebody that really contributed to a big win last night, 28-14 over Orville.
Well, one who really did was Ty Lipkins, because we did not play a very good first half. And after we went down 14-0, we were able to drive down, score, and make it 14-7. And we were actually pretty relieved that we were only down 14-7 with the way we played the first half. But Orville tried to make a 2-minute drive, and Ty Lipkins picked off a pass over their sideline, returned it all the way for a touchdown. And we went in at half, tied 14-14. And I think that just gave us a lot of momentum and a lot of belief that we're going to come back out and win the second half.
Coach, the road that's left within the Pac-7, take us through that, knowing what's ahead and what makes that road so tough still with Tuslaw, Fairless, and Manchester ahead.
We play Tuslaw Friday night.
Come on, John. You didn't think Coach DeMarco would give you anything more than that. Be where your feet are, what you see that day, win that play, win that practice, win that day, right, Coach? That's the mindset.
Exactly. John should know better than that of all people.
What's funny is that I could see Coach DeMarco's face too when he answered that question, because he's done that to me before where I've asked a question like that, and he's probably got that wry smile on his face now as he's saying that. Coach, this group, though, going through Pac-7 play, it's so tough. What do you tell them each week to continue to get them to play at the level that they need to against these opponents?
Well, our goal each week is we want to get better on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Those are our work days. So we really want to get better on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and we want to win on Friday night. We would like to improve Friday night, but we're going to take the win Friday night even if we don't play like we should and we don't make the improvement that we need to. But we really need to work hard and get better on those 2 days. And actually, we kind of go the motto of we want to win the day. Each day we want to get better in what we do. We want to get better in football. We want to get better in everything we do. We just want to be better people each day we do. So that's kind of what we strive for around here.
Coach, congrats on the win last night. You continue to impress each week for folks in Canal Fulton and for us here on the Huddle. And we're happy that you guys pick up the win and you move up to 8th in the unofficial computer rankings. Coach, congrats again on the win. And thanks to you and Logan for stopping by the Huddle this morning.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you guys having us, and we appreciate any time you come out to Canal Fulton. We always enjoy you guys being out here, and hopefully at some point you could see us.
Hey, John, aren't we, John Bozeka, aren't we on the road this week at Northwest?
That is the game this week. It's Tuslaw at Northwest this week. So, Coach, I don't know what you're going to serve Kenny in the press box. I don't know if you have a plan to make a steak for him on your own grill, but you better make something good for the road, man.
Well, if you got a minute there, I got another story for you, Kenny, because I know you're always interested in this.
Yeah.
We ran our play that we auction off at the kickoff dinner.
Okay.
And the guy donated this year wanted Colin Smith, our good two-way lineman, number 52, thrown to a pass to one of our subs in our offensive line, Kyle Turley, number 50. And we're down at about the 7-yard line last night, and Colin threw a bubble pass to Kyle Turley, and he got to about inside the 1-yard line. He couldn't stretch out over the goal line. So we got close, but we weren't able to convert last night. And I know you're always interested in that play.
That is awesome. I think it's one of the coolest things in high school football that you as a head coach and how tight-lipped you are and how much control you have over everything. You let somebody bid on a play and you actually run it in a meaningful game like that, Coach. So I'm standing and applauding you right now. You can't see me, but I'm standing and applauding. Way to go, Coach.
Well, we'll try to get that play sent to you so you can at least see it.
Absolutely. Please do so, Coach. And we'll see you on the sidelines this Friday night.
All right. Sounds great. Look forward to seeing you guys.
Thanks so much. I love that, John. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Marco.
Yep.
Stopping by. You know what's most impressive to me, Kenny, is that I think last year was the year that it was the one-handed catch by Luke Saptalian.
Yep.
But the year before, I think it was a halfback pass. And from what I remember, I was there for it that night too. I think they were playing Orville. As you said, you know, we know and we joke with John about it, but we know how much he has control over everything within the program. And the fact that he's willing to let a fan in Northwest draw up the craziest play possible and run it, and the fact that it almost works is and it does work.
It did. They completed the pass. He almost scored a touchdown, positive yards. And there were teams last night that had trouble getting 5 yards, and a fan called this play and they executed it for Northwest. So that's fantastic. Now, one of the teams that didn't have trouble gaining yards and scoring points was Alliance, as they beat Carrollton last night, 47-28. And Coach Goodman is joining us on the Saturday morning huddle with a special guest. Coach, congratulations on the big win. Welcome to the huddle again.
Thanks. Appreciate you having us on.
Who do you have with you, Coach?
This is our senior outside linebacker, Johnny Belts.
Johnny, congratulations on the win. What was the key for you guys yesterday in getting a 3-touchdown victory, basically?
Just stopping the run game and making them pass the ball because we got good DBs, good safeties. Just converting on downs.
Sorry about that, Johnny. Coach, are you getting tired of joining the huddle every week? Or are you
Yeah, no, it's a good problem to have. You know, you guys do a great job, and we're happy to be on here. And when you're asked to be on, it usually means you're having a good season. So no, it's a good problem to have, and we're honored to be on here.
Yeah, Coach.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say this group of aviators, Coach. You've battled to this point the one loss to Louisville. Biggest game of the year, though, coming up this coming week against West Branch. You would say they're all big, but do you feel your team is playing the ball that they need to be playing right now?
Yeah, we're hitting our stride at the midseason here. We've had a couple injuries, and guys have filled in and filled in nicely for us. So, you know, like you said, this is the kind of games you want to play in when you play high school football. You'd rather be in these games than games that nobody cares about. So I told these guys last night they've earned the right to be in a big game like this, and let's go out and have fun now.
Coach, I keep referencing the Louisville game because that's when we saw you in person. And since that game, you guys have been on a roll. Can it be traced back to that loss and why this season has flipped it and moved in this direction? Or am I making too big of a deal of that each time?
No, I think we learned a lot from that game. You know, I knew we'd have a pretty good team coming into this year. We had almost our entire team back from last year in key spots, and we have dynamic playmakers and guys like Johnny who flies the football and makes great plays for us defensively. So I thought we'd have a good year, but the lesson we learned from that loss and, you know, how to approach games of that magnitude, that's going to help us this week as we play in a big game. So, no, you learn more from your losses than you do your wins, and I think these guys and our team learned from that loss.
Johnny, you know, you mentioned last night how you guys needed to tackle, take care of things. Carrollton goes through a point where they get some big plays on you guys, but it seems like at the right time you guys tightened up in the fourth quarter. What allowed you guys to do that?
Yeah, just talking to Coach, we had some blown coverages, but just adjusting and playing different, playing man and stuff like that, just getting to the ball.
I'll hype him up. You talk about key stops. We went down and got a score, and it was a one-score game, and Carroll starts putting the drive together, and key stops. This guy jumps an out route from his outside linebacker position, picks it off, and he can run a little bit, and he turned the Jets on and had an 83-yard pick six that made it a two-score game. Kind of from there, it was all downhill for us.
That's awesome. And Johnny, take us through that play. Was it because of the film study, because of the scouting report, and you reacting to it? Take us through all of that.
It's really just growing up in football and just doing my 111th, just playing football. I see the route, I jump on it, and I just take the ball to a touchdown. I mean, coaching, just doing my 111th.
Coach, every week you've brought a different player here. We've asked you to do that, and we've had JR twice, but whether it was JR, Cam Burton, Johnny, you had another kid the one week, I think it was Grady maybe. Why these kids all sound like coaches when they talk?
Yeah. It's just
how happy does that make you, Coach?
Yeah, it thrills us that, it's just that experience level that these guys have played a lot of football now over the past 2 and 3 years. And that's what it was with Johnny last night. They kind of kept throwing the same route over and over. And he kind of said, hey, I know what's coming, trusted his key, did his job, and it made a huge play for us. And when you have a team like that believes in the coaches and buys in and they do what we ask them to do, good things typically happen from there. So we're fortunate to have veteran guys like Johnny and JR and all those guys you alluded to that are just heady football players and do their job.
Johnny, I'm curious, in practice, how much does it help your defense when you're going up against one of the best quarterbacks in Stark County in JR Jackson and the weapons that you guys have on offense?
Are you saying like our scout O?
Yeah, your scout though. If when you go against, we always hear iron sharpens iron. So when you're going against good players, how much does that help you for when you are in a regular game situation?
Tremendously. I mean, we have our starting O comes and gets on the line. We have a great. He's not even a quarterback, but he plays quarterback and he can move. So when we play a guy or something like West Branch where we know what's coming, shifty guys, we got guys out there like Jaron that'll hop in the slot and just run routes that help us very much because those are shifty guys and they work hard on Scout O.
Coach, how far was the interception return last night?
83 yards.
Johnny, what are you thinking lugging down the field like that? 83 yards. That had to be maybe the longest run you've made, wasn't it?
Yeah, just really flow state. That's what I've been saying. I was just in a flow state, just moving my legs. Just
flow
moving.
State. I like that. I've never heard.
Johnny was a running back as a freshman, so he's got some wheels on him. He can be deceptive. He was moving pretty good.
I haven't ran like that in a while.
Coach, have you ever been in a flow state?
That's a new word for me. I don't know what. Yeah, I'm sure I have been in a flow state, but I'm learning new words all the time from these guys. So I'll have to pick Johnny's brain on that when we get off the camera.
Johnny, what is the flow state? That's a new thing on the huddle for us. What is the flow state?
When you're just dialed in and you're just, when everything goes silent and you're just doing what you're doing. Like,
no, Johnny, we don't know what that is. For guys like us, we have no clue. That's why we're asking you. So is it like being in the zone? Maybe as an older term, is that the same?
Yes, being in the zone.
Okay.
Just you and yourself.
All right.
Kenny, we learn something new on the huddle every single week. I love that.
I love it, man. We're students of the game and we're absorbing as much as we can. And maybe one day I will be in a flow state somewhere, somehow, Coach.
Coach, yeah. 6-1 on the year now, and I know you don't want to go ahead of this week, but with these wins, you move up in computer standings every week. You better your chances of making the playoffs. How important is that to these guys to be in a good playoff position and continue to play that ball at a high level with week 11 now only 3 weeks away on the horizon?
Yeah, I think it's really important anytime you get bonus football. You want to keep playing as long as you can, right? For a lot of these seniors, that this will be the end of their football career, so they're just getting that extra game for them. But like you alluded to, we got to take care of this week. I mean, we can't look at week 11. I think every team sets out to win their league first, and this week's going to be a big showdown that has a lot of saying on who's going to win that league.
West Branch this week, we saw them last week against Minerva. Some of the weapons, you've seen them. A lot of these guys have grown up together. What makes them so tough, Coach?
Yeah, they're a lot like us. They have dynamic playmakers. They're physical up front. Then on defense, they fly to the football. So it's almost like looking in a mirror when you look at them. And these guys have had a rivalry with them probably all the way back to about third grade. They know each other pretty well. They're the kings of the league right now. They haven't lost a league game about 5-6 years. And, they play with a lot of confidence.
And Johnny, how much motivation is that right there? They haven't lost in how many years in the league, and they're the defending champs, and you got a chance to take them down.
I think we beat them one time since I've been in second grade, and it's always been a shootout every time. And we hate these guys. We want to go get the win.
I love it. I love it, man. That's what rivalries are. Coach, you hate to use the word hate. I just did twice. But that's part of football, right? That's what makes this game so exciting, and that's why we want to cover as many games and do huddle stuff like this. So from a coaching standpoint, you got to love hearing that from one of your guys.
Oh, yeah. You kind of get sick of the cushy-feely stuff with the jersey swaps after the game that you see in college football, and this is what makes high school football fun. You got neighboring communities that just want to get after it. They want bragging rights for a year. And, this is what gets you juiced up for high school football.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny, it sounds like this one has been circled from the beginning of the year. Is that true?
Yeah. We just had to go week by week, though. If we took a loss to someone like Salem or Carrollton, like Coach said, this game wouldn't mean nothing.
Love
big deal,
that too, Coach.
Yeah. Coach, it's a big deal this week, and we're thrilled that you guys get to play in it. You don't get opportunities like that very often. 6-1 against 6-1, undefeated in the league versus undefeated in the league. And hey, you've made time for us on the huddle. I think it might be a record at this point of weeks in a row on the huddle. So we got to make that another week. So I want to set the time from right now. We'll see you same time, same place next week, right, Coach?
I sure hope so. That'll mean good things happen for us. So I sure hope I see you two guys next week.
Sounds great. Johnny, congrats, Coach. Keep up the great work, and good luck this week in that big game, all right?
Thanks. Appreciate it.
There he is. I love that guy, man. He's having fun. How can you not have fun? J.R. Jackson, 4 touchdown passes, a touchdown run. Johnny there with an 83-yard pick six. Nicholson with 2 touchdown catches, 71 and 42 yards, 6-1, 2-0, as you said, 47 points on the board again, John. One of the highest scoring teams in the county, with arguably the best player in the county at quarterback. And JR plays defensive back as well. And I think he was leading the county in interceptions, not thrown interceptions as a quarterback, interceptions as a defensive back.
Well, and Kenny, we had talked about it, but unofficially now Alliance 6th in Division 3, Region 9. They're sitting in a good position there again. And this is something that you and I are going to have to talk about going into next week, Kenny, and even into week 9. And then it's going to be even bigger in week 10, but only 12 this year. It used to be 8, then it was 16. Now it's 12 teams get in. And if you're the teams in Stark County right now, and Alliance is a great example, Kenny, they pick up a win this week, they could jump into the top 4, and then they get to be one of the 4 buys that gets that first week off. And I think if you're a team that could be a blessing. That could also be a curse, because you could, lose some of that mojo with a week off, but then you could get healthy with that week off. So it's fascinating. It's everything's rounding into shape, and everything is going to be really exciting as the year comes to a close. Kenny, we got a couple things that we got to do here to wrap it up. And one of them is the Marianne Donuts sweet plays of the week. And well, we've already shown them to you, but guess what? We can show them again because they're so good. It's the Jackson passing game this week. The Jackson passing game, if all of them could get a dozen donuts, every single one of them, we would want that to be the case. And Kenny, it's because of some of their dynamic plays, like this one made by Max Cowles.
Oh, I love this. A bubble screen coming across. He's got speed. He's got moves. And I love right here, he puts this kid in the spin cycle. Whoop! And right into the end zone. Gets knocked down. He doesn't care. He's celebrating. That's a touchdown. Mulman gets the pass, touchdown. And Cowles gets credit for the actual touchdown, showing his speed, his visibility on the field of knowing when and where to cut back to. So that's one of the Marianne Donuts sweet plays of the week. And the other one, John, hey, you got to go win the game, man. So many of these games are close. They come down to one possession. Don't give the ball back. And that's what Jay Rohr and Bedri Bardawill decided as coaches. It was 4th and 4. And Carter Mulman, they put the ball in his hands and gave him, the reads, the options to go through. And he ends up completing a pass here on 4th down. First read covered, second read covered, pressure coming, rolls to the outside, ball on the left, switches it to the right. First down, ball game. And that was it. And you see the reaction from the offensive linemen pumping their fist and high-fiving. Just a great job by, this is the backup quarterback for Jackson, Carter Mulman, and a great catch. Simple, come back and help your quarterback out, and you win the ball game. I love the aggressiveness from Jackson.
Yeah, it's great. It's really a sign of who they are. It's a sign of that, resiliency that head coach Jay Rohr was talking about. And, it really showed through who they were last night offensively. We gave it to the passing game, Kenny, but it was a full effort last night by Jackson. Yeah. Everyone involved was huge. And obviously Lake made some big plays in the game, but, for it to come down to that key play at the end and for Mulman knowing how he was the backup at the beginning of the year, having that in the arsenal. I wanted to get to this play. You talked about it earlier, Kenny, but to Gino in the back corner, that back shoulder throw, what a tough throw that is for a high school kid. And that's why I wanted to get to that highlight, because it speaks volumes to his growth, and it speaks volumes to what they are able to do. You have a 4-year starter in Lucas Eckerman who came into the year knowing that he was the guy. He's battled injuries. He's battled things all year. They've battled things all year. The fact that Carter has waited his turn, he's ready to go. They place the ball in his hands, and he seems so comfortable. And both him and Corey, they were just like so easy to talk to this morning in terms of how excited they were to be there. And you can just tell that the game just comes naturally to them. And I'm really excited to see their road forward with Glen Oak this week, McKinley, and then Hoover. They've got 3 fascinating games. And despite the 3 losses, Kenny, they're right in the Federal League race.
They are, John. We need to give some love to our sponsors because, again, without them, this isn't possible on the Saturday morning huddle. So shout out to Akron Auto Auction. Check them out at akronautoauction.com. The job that Chad Bailey and his staff do there, fantastic. If you're in need of a car, you're looking for a vehicle and you've never been to an auction before, by all means, check out akronautoauction.com. They've been doing it for over 50 years. So if they've been around that long, they know what they're doing. So check out akronautoauction.com. Marianne Donuts, the sweet play of the week each and every week. Fall means football and filling up at Marianne Donuts. My goodness, it doesn't get much better than that. From hot chocolate to pumpkin favorites and those legendary football-shaped donuts, Marianne's has the game day gear you need to keep your crew fired up with and fed with. Whether you're in the stands or watching from home, bring the tradition, bring the flavor, bring Marianne Donuts, a Canton classic since 1947. And we talked about Carter Mulman. He was our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week for his performance, throwing the ball all over the field, over 300 yards passing. And when it comes to money, Community One Credit Union is always on your team. They've got the plays that make life easier, like it was for Carter, making life easy for that offense for Jackson, from loans to checking, online banking, and mobile services to youth accounts and everything in between. Community One Credit Union, where community comes first. Membership open to everybody in Stark County. And thanks again to Community One Credit Union, and congratulations to Carter Mulman, our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week.
Yeah, and then our last 2 sponsors, DeHoff Realtor Ty Colucci. Couldn't do it without him. We thank him for everything that he does for us and being part of sponsoring this every single week. Whether you're buying or selling a home, he will always help you with any questions that you might have regarding that. And then, of course, Dirty Hands Excavating and Restoration LLC, Brandon Carl. And yes, that is the father of Cam Carl, the outstanding wide receiver for Fairless, who's putting up video game-like numbers this year. Another video game-like performance last night with 4 receptions for 160 yards and a touchdown. Just an incredible year that he has been having. And, of course, Marianne Donuts, one last time, get them in there as well.
Yeah, and I want to go through all the scores one more time, John, because we need to give love to guys we didn't talk to today, right? McKinley and Hoover. McKinley wins at 21-20. Kylan West, 116 yards and a touchdown in that win for McKinley. Jackson and Lake, we broke that baby down numerous times today. Jackson wins 40-37, 837 yards of combined offense in that game. Green beats Glen Oak 51-21. Tyson Hunka, 5 touchdown passes for the Bulldogs, and he threw for 258 in that win for Green. Fitch takes down Perry 14-7. Jonathan Lemon, the only touchdown of the game for Perry, and it was on a pick 6. So they did not score an offensive touchdown, Perry, as Fitch outgained Perry 222-155.
Yeah, here was a little bit from that game right here that we had some of the highlights and idea of a little bit of that last night. It was really a defensive game. I know we're doing this late here in the show, but this was one of Perry's best opportunities, Kenny, and Price DeStefano had his kick blocked, and it was DeAndre Richard, this running back here that you're going to see burst out to the left and make a great broken tackle and take it all the way into the end zone. And he had 2 scores last night and was very instrumental in their win for Fitch going on the road to Perry. That's an old Federal League matchup, and it was a good ball game last night. That was our stream game brought to you by Friends and Family Credit Union.
Massillon gets back on the winning track, beating Cardinal Ritter 28-14. Christian Culler, a 45-yard touchdown run for Massillon. Manny Patterson, a TD pass. Xavier Owens, 2 more touchdowns on the ground. Massillon led 21-14 at halftime after I guess Cardinal Ritter threw a Hail Mary at the half to make it a 1-score game, but Massillon doubles up Cardinal Ritter. Canfield beat Louisville 23-21. Gabe Stouffer in a losing effort combined 307 yards and 3 total touchdowns, but Louisville comes up on the short end. Salem beats Minerva 48-17. Alliance, we talked about them and J.R. Jackson's game again. 5 total touchdowns at quarterback for the Alliance Aviators. Marlington shut out by West Branch 62-0, setting up that big game against Alliance this week between West Branch and Alliance. Triway beat Canton South 47-23. Manchester 42, Fairless 13. You mentioned Cam Carl, 4 receptions, 160 yards and a touchdown. Mikey Ritterbeck at quarterback threw for 205 and 2 scores in a losing effort. Northwest, we heard Coach DeMarco tell us about his team's big game, down 14-0. They come back, score the last 28 points, and coast to victory there. Congratulations. Edison beats Central. Central remains winless at 0-7, but Brock Berkwin, sophomore quarterback, 2 touchdown passes, threw for over 200 yards. East Canton back on the winning track. They're now 5-2. Owen McCroskey, a touchdown run and a touchdown pass. Dylan Anderson had a nice game as well for the Hornets. They beat Strasburg 14-3. Ridgewood 48, Sandy Valley 7, and tonight St. Thomas on the road at Crestline.
Great week of football in week 7. Lots of really important games this past week, and they are only going to get more important as we go from here on out. League races shaping up this week, some huge games within the Federal League, the huge game in the EBC. It's going to be coming up between West Branch and Alliance, 6-1 against 6-1. In the Federal League, McKinley, 6-1 against Lake this week, 6-1. Northwest will welcome in Tuslaw. Tuslaw, they're 3-4, but don't let that fool you. They're tough. That's going to be a tough game for Northwest at home. That's our Freshmark Sugardale radio game this week. I know, it's going to be interesting these last couple weeks. This is when it's at its best, and it all culminates with week 10 at 2:00 at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, and then we get set for the playoffs after McKinley and Massillon meet again this year, Kenny. But I can't believe we're headed to week 8 already.
Yeah, looking forward to it, John. Going to be a lot of fun, and we'll recap it again next Saturday morning here on the Huddle.
Sounds great. Hey, guys, we'll see you next week, Saturday morning Huddle. And, hey, have a great week, and go Buckeyes, go Browns, and we'll talk to you next week.
Heck of a season for the Guardians, too, even though it is now. I'm missing Guardians baseball already, but like you said, we got Buckeyes today, and then bright and early tomorrow morning, from London, England. The era known as the Dylan Gabriel era begins for the Cleveland Browns at quarterback. So, check that out. We'll talk about it on the Kenny and JT show on Monday at 3.
Yeah, tea, crumpets, and touchdowns tomorrow morning for Browns fans. We'll catch you guys next week here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. Have a great day, everyone.